a couple of people about this. Martin Kpebu, of course, prominent Ghanaian lawyer, even though he disagrees. Sulemana Braimah is executive director of the Media Foundation for West Africa. They join us, both of them, over the phone. But I believe we have Martin at the moment. Martin, good morning.
Morning, Kojo. Yeah.
Well, I know this matter needs no introduction to you. Your thoughts?
Yeah. Okay. So this is an unfortunate incident that we must condemn in the strongest terms possible, because it beggars belief. In this day and age, I can't just believe it, because the Constitution is clear. If you think somebody has made a publication about you and we still refer to it, what the Constitution enjoins you in Article 162, Clause 6, is that you do a rejoinder. That is what our Constitution stipulates. Or if a thing is beyond that, you want to sue, defamation and the rest, sure, use rule of law. So it's shocking that for a party that prides itself in being masters of the rule of law, its supporters and other members would go do such a thing. You say, so for me, I join your call for the prosecution of this matter to the fullest extent allowed by law, because we need to set an example of some people so that others will take a cue. It appears each time there's just an arrest, and then that's the end of the matter, because when the persons are bailed, it doesn't the case is not prosecuted, and so there are no convictions, etc. But this is one case that we should follow to the fullest extent of the law, because, election 2024 is at the corner. And so if this doesn't receive the right attention in law, it will be an incentive to the rest of the followers of all the political parties, to continue in this right. Because you mentioned that earlier, the Babon Station one, that was just a few months ago. This one has happened now. And so once these two cases are not prosecuted, there will be an incentive for others to follow, because they know that, a few days in custody, and that will be the end of the matter. So we need to have this case prosecuted, because, we all are now in the space with you guys. So when I saw it, I was like, hey, is that what's happening? And we should remember that, listen, one thing is very clear to me, Kojo. It looks like larger sections of our populace are not exactly up to speed. We don't appreciate the role that the media play. Yeah, sometimes we may know, they are there, they give us information, that's it. But we don't really see how you guys hold our democracy, because you hold government to account. You see the loopholes and tell us. You see, then you say, okay, come and amplify it. So the media is something we must guard and protect jealously, because when the media is out, the rest of us were out. And that's why, as far back as the early 18-something, Jefferson said that, look, Thomas Jefferson, was he the fourth president of the U.S., that, look, it prefers a society with media, but without a formal government. Because it tells you over 200 years ago, he could see what media does. Yes, he prefers a society with media, but without a formal government, because he sees that media raising issues and the rest will do a better job than sometimes you just put in a formal government that will create loot and share like we are suffering now. And so if the media are not up to scratch, then it means that we are dead. So please, let's go on with it. The Constitution is clear. Please, Article 162, Clause 6, do a rejoinder. If those guys thought that, look, they don't want to do a rejoinder, then they should have gone to court. It's basic. Go to court. If you think maybe I hear the guy complain that the president was insulted, the vice president, etc. And I'm like, this sometimes in the democracy, the thing is even calling an insult. I shudder to think that those are insults. That's holding those public officers to account. The president himself, as far back as the 1970s, 77, you see him holding demonstrations saying a champion should resign. Said all manner of things against a champion, from a champion to Ekufu to Rawlings, on and on till he finally became president. So, and whoever was he ever prosecuted? Was he beaten? Even if he said prosecution, yeah, I know there are some cases that they were taking on. So let's say, did anybody go to use force, hooliganism, like the governor of the Bank of Ghana sought to say? So this is the real kind of hooliganism that the governor should have come out to condemn. So he thinks in a democracy, some people are hooligans. Yes, so this is the real hooliganism. So if nobody is subjected the president to such treatment, he haven't done all these things to so many people, why would his supporters, affiliates come and do that to others? It's not the best.
We're joined by Samson Lardy Anyenini. Of course, he's a host of Newsfile. He's also a Ghanaian lawyer. Samson, good morning. Now,
morning, Kpebu.
Yeah, something of interest. I've noticed that on social media, there are some people who seek to either explain away or defend what happened. So you hear them say things like, well, the group first wrote a letter and, the one of the panelists ripped up the letter. And so, by carrying that, he should also be condemned for that act. All they wanted was to be represented in any conversations that had political themes. What do you say to that?
First of all, their grievance, as you hear them boldly state on camera in the studio, is that some people have been insulted and disrespected. Even if insulting the president, the vice president, or their general secretary were a crime, they are not police. And it's not their job to do what they did. Unfortunately, or fortunately, in 2001, this president, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, as the Attorney General, convinced Parliament to abolish Section 183 of our criminal, code, at the time which made insulting the president crime. Insulting the president, we must tell these hooligans that insulting the president is not a crime, let alone to talk about insulting your general secretary. Of course, we will not promote insults, and we don't promote insults. But it's not a crime. It is only insulting or conduct that tends to insult a chief. That is a crime. That's a law we made in 2008. How interesting a country we can be. That insulting the president is not a crime. And then we abolished that in 2001. And then a few years later, we say that insulting a chief is a crime. Now, you can decide in this republic to set up a media entity, a media station, whatever you call it. And it is your discretion to decide how you empanel a political program. You can decide that for your platform, you will not empanel NDC, you will not empanel MPP, and you will not have committed any wrong or any crime. It is your right. These same people who were there, they are clearly followers of certain programs in this country on television where they know that those programs are for government or the MPP. And so they cannot expect those programming to do anything that is good or, as it were, favors the opposition NDC. So they must be told that there is no crime in that. A journalist can decide that all they want to do is to support one political party and advocate for that political party. That is no crime, and the Constitution does not frown on that. So to see people, particularly within the presidency, suggests that they were provoked and that this attack was justified. I ask myself, why should my money be used to pay such people in the presidency? How can those people be qualified to be in the presidency? And the manner in which this particular regime, and we have been talking about it, the Media Foundation for West Africa, all those who matter have been saying it. The posturing of the leadership, as far as the protection of journalists is concerned, has been very abysmal, particularly beginning with the president. So I am so happy the GJA has clearly found out and called out the minister and the regime for their hypocrisy and the conduct that they have been involved in that appears to embolden this kind of open attack. It's totally wrong, and it must be said, in that the minister says he made the report, or the ministry made the report, under a certain vehicle. Read the NMC statement, which says they intend to reactivate. The ministry gives you an impression that there is a certain body that is there and has been working to protect journalists. The NMC tells you that that body is dead. They are seeking to reactivate it. The NMC is actually the key driver of that body. Who are they misleading? Who do they think they can lie to? It's really sad.
Yeah,
it's really very sad, and we must let it be known. Look, a person can set up. You can decide how you empanel, and nobody has a right to come and insist that you empanel in a certain way. We have had circumstances where these two parties come and say, "Oh, we think that your show, we deserve this kind of representation." All of that is nonsense. They must be told that they don't have that right. And if you want to persuade somebody, you don't go there and do that criminal conduct. So they should prosecute them in a way that would deter others. If A+ took the statement by the party, that statement should not have been issued in the first place.
Right.
Who is working in their party office? Who are they employed to issue statements? And those people don't know enough to know that they couldn't have written that letter. Under Article 162 of the Constitution, you cannot be doing that. And if you wrote it and they decided to tear it up, tearing it up is a statement, it's a reply. And if you are angry about that, there's a way to go about it. And you can't actually compel an apology. He says they were there to demand an apology. You can't compel an apology.
Let's bring in Sulemana Braimah. Sulemana Braimah is Executive Director of the Media Foundation for West Africa. Thank you for making the time to speak to us, Sulemana. A sad day, Saturday. But are you expectant of any proper remedy from the police?
Well, I hope I heard you clear. The last thing I heard was whether I am expecting something from the police.
Correct.
So, I think that certainly what has happened is quite embarrassing. I'm sure that the government people will be quite embarrassed, and it is therefore not surprising that, heard from the Ministry of Information. And in fact, if you look at the police statement, is that one of the complainants is the Ministry of Information. And so, given what has happened over time and the bad reputation that this government has for alternatives to issues of press freedom, I can only be confident that this is so terrible. I don't think this before. Well, maybe more than thousands of people going into forming a radio and a television TV is not participating in the process of the public. So, given the circumstance, I do expect that we see people arranged before the court and that is at least there is that one thing.
Hello, Sule, can I ask you to reposition yourself? We have a terrible connection, and so we're struggling to hear what you're saying. If we can have you reposition yourself as quickly as you can, just so we can hear the end of your contribution there. Do we still have Sulemana Braimah?
Hello, Kojo?
Yes.
Is it better now?
It sounds better. Yeah, let's go on.
Okay. Yeah, so I was saying that, I mean, given the circumstances, and the extent to which this is so embarrassing. I mean, for the first time, an incident happens, and even before I read it, the ministry had issued a statement.
Your call has been put on hold. Please wait to be reconnected.
And of course, this is deeply embarrassing. Unfortunately, I think this is happening the build of what we have been warning them. It appears that people want to do anything to please the government of the day and to assure the president and other people that we are the NPP, we are the people supporting the government. And they would want to do it, sometimes the very ridiculous way. And we've had people do that and earn themselves positions. You have people who go on air and they think you can hear what you can hear is, in ridiculous form, all they do is to try and please the president and the government that we are the ones defending you. That is what the police people, who were taking out or is taking out was doing. Flaunting his membership of the NPP and trying to have done this or we could have done that and so forth. And the level of impunity over time. People have done worse things against the media and nothing happened. Just because, we are NPP or we are lying to the NPP. People have stormed court, disrupted cases, and nothing has happened to them. So, I think that on this occasion, given the level of investment, I can only expect that at least these are folks that are paraded the court in justice system.
Yeah, I want to say a big thank you to all of you for this. No doubt this conversation will have to make a bit more time for it on the show. But for now, thank you very much to Martin Kpebu, Samson Lardy Anyenini, and Sulemana Braimah.